So if you went to a doctor and were like, hey, I need to get a prescription of sun. I need to get a prescription of nature. I need to get a prescription of water. Like, that doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't sound like a solution to our health, but all of those things are such a big factor when it comes to improving your health, when it comes to lowering the amount of pain you have, being able to go throughout your life with a higher quality of life. I'm talking long term, like beyond just like wherever you're at in life. I'm talking 30, 40, 50 years down the line. So those factors are important, and you can start with those habits now, and they make a really big impact in your life down the road. All right, we're going to jump right in. With this episode, I have this goal of you being able to incorporate biohacking into your life now. I want you to start doing things in the home, in and out of the home, that are going to help you feel your best, help you recognize the power of your mind and body, and talk a little bit more about the why behind that, as well as how to start implementing it now. It does not have to cost a lot of money. It doesn't have to be anything and everything that I do, but if you are someone who is interested in tapping into the power that is within you when it comes to your mindset, when it comes to your body, when it comes to changing your life in more ways than one, this is definitely the episode for you. I'm also going to be talking about how I'm implementing biohacking throughout my pregnancy in order to really empower myself. And yeah, we'll talk more about that. I'm really looking forward to this episode because I think it's something that you can start to implement now. And sometimes when I think of biohacking, I always think about like there are a lot of very wealthy people that spend lots of money in order to biohack their health, in order to live longer, in order to feel younger, in order to just have healthier, happier lives. And I think sometimes that basic information doesn't get passed down to the rest of us in the population. And it makes us even more dependent on medication, on going to the doctor, on always looking for a pill in order to fix what's going on within us. And I am not anti-medication. I am not anti-going to the doctor. I'm literally married to one. I promise you that's important. But I need your first line of defense to be you. I need you to be the one to recognize that like I have the power to shift and change my environment, to change what's going on in my body, what's going on in my mind. And let's start there. And then if we need more reinforcement, that's when we can go and get the medication and do the different things. I take that approach with my life in general, and I'm definitely taking that approach when it comes to my labor and delivery. So I'll talk more about that later. If you are not currently pregnant, you'll still benefit from the end of this episode, but I want to make sure that everyone is getting something out of this episode. Okay, so if you have no idea what biohacking is and you just stumbled upon this episode, welcome. Let's talk about it. Biohacking your body means changing your chemistry, literally your physiology, through science and self-experimentation to increase energy and vitality. Basically, you are the subject. And if you're not sure where to start, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about it, and he has a really good book that I'm currently reading. Tony Robbins talks a lot about it. There are just so many people now that talk about just the power of our minds. I talk about it. I talk about the power of our minds all the time. I talk about the power of our words. And all of these play into our physiology as well. When you start to, think negative thoughts about yourself, when you start to speak poorly towards yourself, maybe you start to notice there's a tension in your chest. You start to notice your hands start to ball up. Maybe you start to sweat. Your heart rate starts to increase when you get nervous. All of those things are a physiological response to something that's happening mentally or externally, or both. And because it's like affecting you physically, sometimes it feels out of our control because our body's doing it automatically, but it's not out of our control. We can actually adjust our physiology through our mindset. It's just a matter of a deeper level of self-awareness. Again, I'm not saying this is a cure-all. Please do not blanket my statements that way, but recognize that we have so much more power than I think we give ourselves credit for. These people that I've mentioned earlier, they talk about the power of priming your subconscious towards success and abundance, allowing your mind to step into its power, allowing the thought pathways to step towards actually helping you have a successful life, have more abundance within your life, start seeking the things that bring you that level of wealth and abundance and happiness, and it starts in our brain. And you can incorporate priming your mind and mindset exercises to help you through biohacking your mental and physical health. So let's get into just how you can biohack your health this week and what it can look like. Because maybe everything I just spit out at you feels very overwhelming, feels a little bit over your head. And I don't want you to get caught up in like having to rewire your subconscious and that feels overwhelming. And I don't even know what is my subconscious. I don't know. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. So let's just slow it down, keep it simple for you, and focus on ways to heal your body through lowering stress. If it helps you to shift your mindset thinking about, okay, I'm focusing on lowering my stress, then just think of it like that. If the term biohack kind of freaks you out, I don't want to freak you out. I just want to help you. So, things that can help you heal your body and lower stress, some examples, and I talk a lot more about this in my Hot Girl Healing Guide. So, if you haven't downloaded that, stop what you're doing, click the link, download that so that you have all of these practices among everything else that I have in there. Everything else I have in there as far as resources, as far as support with your healing and confidence within your body and every other aspect of your life. So practice daily breath work. What is that? If you haven't listened to my episode on breath work, I've talked about it a couple times, especially last year with my Hot Girl Healing Journey. And breath work, the definition, if we take it just straight from Wiki, is a term for various breathing practices in which the conscious control of breathing, so you're consciously breathing a certain way, is said to influence a person's mental, emotional, and physical state with a therapeutic effect. Breathwork may be helpful for relaxation and stress in a similar way to meditation. Everyone take a big inhale through your nose. Hold it. And then when you exhale, I want you to release your jaw and any tension in your face. You just practice biohacking. You just allowed yourself to consciously breathe and shift in order to release tension. And that's essentially what breathwork can be. It can be as simple as taking a breath, as taking 5 minutes out of your day just to slow your breathing down, to slow your thoughts, to release any tight muscles and tension that you're holding in your shoulders and your jaw, other parts of your body. A lot of the stress that we take on, our bodies take it on too. And so breathwork can be a really good way to release that. And more intense breath work than what I just showed you, more intense breath practices can help you get even deeper into healing your body and working through your mind and coming to a less stressed state. I really think it helps through deeper emotions more so than even just the day-to-day, and that's why I'm such a big fan of breath work. But you can do it and start really simple this week by just taking some time every day to breathe, okay? Next one is grounding walks in nature. In the healing guide, I talk about going on meditative walks. You can literally do this and go on grounding walks in nature. I like to do this barefoot. And if you're someone who you're in a city, you can't walk around barefoot right now, go and find somewhere that's like a park or a patch of grass or whatever, and just take your shoes off, sit down, get your body there to where you're literally touching the grass. Go literally hug a tree. I might sound crazy, but I promise, don't bash it till you try it. If you are feeling like almost jumpy, or you feel like you want to crawl out of your skin, or you just can't really get calm, you're just constantly your thoughts are racing and you're wanting to constantly move, grounding can be a really good way to center yourself, come back to yourself, slow down, and get out of that fight or flight stressful state. We'll talk more about fight or flight later, but grounding can be really huge for you. So start that this week. Red light therapy or salt therapy. Light is really powerful in general. So let's just talk in general. So something that can help you is adjusting the light throughout your day. So if you are under fluorescent lights all day, every day, because you work in a hospital, you work in an office, I'm sorry, that sucks. Figure out, is there a way to adjust your lighting throughout your workday? Can you put your laptop or your phone onto that yellow light mode? I can't think of the mode right now. The mode that's not that blue light. Can you wear blue blocker glasses when you get home for the day and you're starting to adjust your lighting? If you guys are watching this on YouTube, you're seeing the sun is literally setting right next to me and I don't have overhead lights on. That's intentional, because after I finish recording this episode, I am going to be going into more wind down activities. I'm going to be done with work. I'm going to be starting dinner. And even while I'm cooking dinner, I won't have the overhead lights. I'll have more of a calm lighting for me. Those kind of adjustments with lighting can really help you lower your stress. It can help your body start to wind down, allow yourself to calm. Other things that can help you with that are out in nature is the actual light in nature. So if you immediately are able to get out and see the sun, look at the sky when you first wake up, and if you're able to see it start to set when you are going to bed, that is a helpful cue for your circadian rhythm, which sleep is a huge factor when it comes to biohacking your health. In addition to light, another thing in nature that can be really helpful is actually to listen to the birds. So if you go outside and you hear the birds chirping, that is something that also cues to our brain, to our subconscious, that we're in a safe environment because birds are chirping only in a safe environment. And it really helps us to, again, come out of that fight or flight state. So things that seem so simple and you wouldn't even realize it make a really big difference in our health within our life with how we're showing up and how we're feeling. I talked about salt therapy or float tank therapy. At home, you could do something like a nice bath with Epsom salts. That can be something that really is helpful for your body. It helps you with lowering inflammation, lowering your stress level. And again, that's what we're working towards. It can cue you up for sleep. I'm a big fan of doing that. Definitely recommend if you are doing it and you're pregnant, just make sure you're checking the temperature of the tub. And then with float tank therapy, like an actual sensory deprivation tank, which I have done with True Rest, I talked about that and we'll be sharing more on that later. That is something that, again, can help with pain relief. It helps you with relaxation. It helps you with better sleep. And so you're going to notice a theme here with all the things I was just mentioning. It really comes down to the basics of how can we improve the quality of our sleep? How can we lower the amount of inflammation and pain in our body? What foods are we eating to support that? How can we change our breath in order to release that tension and stress that keeps us from sleeping, that holds in inflammation? How can we drink more water, focus on getting out in the sun? How can we adjust our thoughts and our self-talk? It's funny, all of those things seem really basic. Thoughts, our own thoughts, our self-talk, breath, sleep, inflammation, food, water, sun, all of those things seem so small. And so if you went to a doctor and were like, hey, I need to get a prescription of sun, I need to get a prescription of nature, I need to get a prescription of water. Like, that doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't sound like a solution to our health, but all of those things are such a big factor when it comes to improving your health, when it comes to lowering the amount of pain you have, being able to go throughout your life with a higher quality of life. I'm talking long term, like beyond just like wherever you're at in life. I'm talking 30, 40, 50 years down the line. So those factors are important, and you can start with those habits now, and they make a really big impact in your life down the road. Your sleep schedule, so important. Light sleep schedule. No screens 1 hour prior to going to bed at minimum. Yeah, you think it's not a big deal. You're like, I can still go to sleep, but it really, really impacts your overall health. And so our bodies are really powerful, but we need to allow them to get to that space, and we need to create a complementary environment for that to happen. We have the ability to lower our pain, our discomfort, and even eventually change our current state through creating a strong mind-body connection. The strength of that mind-body connection is directly impacting the strength and ability that we have as far as power within ourselves. And we need to start believing and understanding that. And if you can start really small, like we just did with like that one breath, you felt your body relax. If you did it with me, you felt your body relax in that one space. That right there is proof it's possible. But we're so quick to try and find answers outside of ourselves that it makes us lose and almost give away our power that we have within. And so I want you to take that power back. The more we understand our bodies, the more we can allow them to respond in a positive way towards our environment. I did this, for example, last year. I talked about cycle syncing during this hot girl healing stage, which is so ironic because I'm pregnant now, but that's because I got really good at cycle syncing and knowing where I was at in my different phases. So it worked a little too good, more better than I expected. But cycle syncing method, I was able to get a deeper understanding and connection with my power, with my body. And I was able to understand the why behind, why was my energy changing throughout my 28-day cycle? Why did I feel more tired towards this part of the month? Why Am I craving these certain things? Why am I feeling this certain way? And instead of putting myself down for having those feelings, I started to understand my body more. And the more I was able to understand that, more I saw it as, instead of, ugh, I have my period this month, I could see it as like, this is a power. This is like such a beautiful thing that we're able to do. And I'm not saying that your feelings aren't valid if you're annoyed or you have a really hard menstrual cramps and stuff like that, but recognize that there's power to that knowledge and being able to take that power back and really embrace it. Now I'm doing the same thing through my pregnancy. So I am working hard to understand my body that is changing more and more every day, understanding all those changes that are going to be coming. And I'm implementing a lot of the stuff I learned through my healing journey and implementing that into having a healthy, happy pregnancy, as well as having a natural labor. And when I say that, I get a lot of judgmental looks. Having a natural labor is really a big goal for me. I literally was talking about this with my mother-in-law because I was so excited about it and she was so sweet and supportive, but we were in the middle of an IKEA bathroom and someone came out of the bathroom stall when I'm telling her about like, hey, I'm hiring a doula and we're working on natural birth, and she's like, good luck, like you're probably going to end up wanting the epidural, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, like first of all, who are you to say that to me and like come out of nowhere, literally out of a bathroom stall? Like that is not the kind of girl talk I'm here for. But I want you to recognize that you have the power to choose what your journey is. And this is what I'm choosing. I'm not saying it's going to be a be all end all. If you're a mom and you're like, yeah, I thought that too, don't bash someone else. That's not going to help them. Recognize that there's still power here. Even if something changes beyond what my birth plan is, I still know that these things that I'm doing now to help have a stronger mind, to help focus on understanding my body, to help be able to have that stronger mind-body connection, it will still make an impact now and beyond within my labor and postpartum, all of those things. So don't bash people, just hear me out. So how am I implementing this in my pregnancy? Well, I hired a doula, and a doula is fully on my support team, my birth team, and they are helping me be able to understand my body and what I'm going through and listen to those cues in order to have a birth that is not rushed, that is in this baby's perfect timing, like exactly when it's supposed to happen is going to come together, and be able to really listen to my own cues instead of having to look outside myself. So getting that kind of support is huge for me. Having someone that is going to be that advocate in the hospital room is huge for me, especially because I've never given birth before, but this doula has and has helped people for over a decade. And we're actually going to have Helen from Aussie Doula on as a guest next week, so I'm really looking forward to having her on. Y'all are going to love her. First of all, she has an Australian accent, and I studied abroad in Australia, and it brings me back so many good memories, but also she just has the best heart, and so does my doula. I'm really excited. But how am I implementing this into my pregnancy? Hiring a doula is just like one step that I'm working towards. It's to help me have a better understanding of my body and what is going to be happening. I want to have a clear understanding, and then what can I do to help support myself and my baby throughout this process, before, during, and after birth. And a big thing that I'm doing right now, the mindset work, I already shared with you guys the meditations, the affirmations, the self-love, the self-care, all of those things are really impactful, right? They're really helpful for me to connect with my body, for me to not feel completely distant from myself because my body's changing a lot. But another one is when we're stepping into the unknown, where we're going into a new chapter, that anxiety can come up again. And so parasympathetic nerve stimulation can be really helpful. Your parasympathetic nerve system is a network of nerves that relaxes your body after a period of stress or danger. So it allows a nice relaxation after that, and it keeps you out of that fight or flight mode constantly. Getting out of that like fight or flight space can be really important, especially in labor, but just in life in general. If you're that person that's very reactive, let's say your email notification goes off or your text message goes off or your phone goes off and you immediately go into like, oh my God, who's calling me? Or your immediate thought when your email goes off is, oh my gosh, someone's mad at me. My boss is mad at me. There's a fire at work. Like it's just these like quick emergency thought situations. That is constantly putting your body in this fight or flight state, which is stopping everything else. It's basically making you like tense up. which can lead to increased stress, increased inflammation, increased blood pressure, all the things. So, by doing things to help you stimulate the parasympathetic nerve, cueing your body to relax, that is going to help you not stay in that state constantly. So when you're in something like birth, this is like super huge for you, right? This is important. So that's why I want to learn to do this now. And so here are some things I'm doing kind of as prep and things that you can do whether you're pregnant or not that are just really helpful. Just think like what helps you lower your stress. Again, if you're getting overwhelmed by all these phrases and everything I'm saying, come back to like, okay, we're lowering our stress. What are we doing to help lower our stress? Maybe we need to cut some baggage. But besides that, we want to get better sleep. How can we do that? Well, less distraction before sleep time, the good priming with lighting, all of those things. There's literally the lights going down during this episode. Meditation is a really good one. We talked about meditation, affirmation, grounding, doing breath work, the PNS exercises where you're doing parasympathetic nerve stimulation. I'll talk a little bit more about ones I'm doing now. So last year, I started doing breath work, and that one was so impactful for me that I'm still doing it. And cold shower or face plunge is another one that I did for helping to cue my parasympathetic nerves. So the cold shower, so this one is previously I've done it and it really helps with inflammation and it wakes me up and it almost primes me for the day. But now I'm kind of using it as a primer for like almost, this is going to sound weird, so just hear me out. This is my perception on why I'm doing this. But it kind of feels like shock therapy or exposure therapy where you put yourself in this state and then you're able to allow your body to respond. So like your natural response when you step into a cold shower might be to clench up, to immediately step back, to like every part of your body is just like freeze, right? Fight or flight. And so my goal whenever I go into the cold shower is to release the tension in my body. So basically I go in with the mindset of like, it's fine. Like I'm going to be fine. My body's going to be fine. I'm going to feel this and feel refreshed. And so I go in there, and at first that was not the case, but now it's like it almost doesn't feel as cold anymore. But it's like I go in and I relax my face. I don't immediately tense it up. I relax my body. I allow myself to breathe. The breathing really helps with it. And I'm doing this because in my mind, I have not given birth, and I'll talk to my doula more about this, but I don't want my body to immediately contract and not relax when in labor. Like I want to be able to allow this baby to come in a way that feels very gentle and loving and just like a release and not like I'm immediately holding back from what my body is made to do naturally. That is something that I'm doing that's just like a small practice, super small. I'm also doing hypnobirthing when it comes to hypnotherapy and breath work. And all those things are to help me basically prep for labor and understanding like this is what it's going to be like. People don't talk about labor enough. They go over it, or maybe they've blocked it out, or maybe they just, they don't talk about it. And so I'm working to get a better understanding of it so then I don't feel as blindsided, right? I want to know what happens to our body physiologically, what can happen to our mindset, and how to help support myself and be supported. That's why I have a great birth team. My husband, I'm my doula, and then the other providers there who I know are going to be on my side because we're going to communicate that, which is great. The face plunge is something that you guys have seen me do where I literally take a bucket of ice water and I put my face in it. And that one's great. I love that one. That's another one that's really good for lowering your anxiety. I definitely do a little bit of breath work before I put my face in. It really is actually good for your skin as well. So there's just a lot of other benefits for it, but that can be really helpful for you. So all of those things are things that I basically have done before and I'm continuing to incorporate. And then I'll be learning more breathing techniques, more prep work, and more other things that are going to help me continue to tap into the power of my body and everything that it's doing. Because as I'm reading this book about hypnobirthing and I'm learning more about all your body can do, I mean, it's amazing. It is amazing what our bodies can do. It's so wild. It's just blowing my mind. And so I'm looking forward to learning more from my doula as we take a birthing class and start to learn about all of that. If you guys have ever done anything like that, definitely let me know. If you are interested in trying breath work, make sure you download the guide because I have all the episodes and resources when it comes to breath work, when it comes to meditation, when it comes to grounding. So I don't want you to miss out on that. It's definitely good information. And I also do not want you to miss out on our doula who is going to be coming next week with Aussie Doula. She's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to having her on And I can't wait for you to go listen. If you're listening and the episode's already out, just go listen to the episode. It's going to be so good. I'll keep you guys updated on my birth plan. If you're interested in knowing more about like, how are you doing this? What is your birth plan? Let me know. I told you guys when I announced my pregnancy, like I didn't want you to think that I was only going to be talking about pregnancy from now on. But I also realized that this is a big part of my life right now. And so a lot of you guys have reached out and said you've enjoyed me sharing and being open about my pregnancy and open about this process. So if you still want more of that, let me know. If you would like to hear more or have more questions, let me know. And if you have questions for our doula, definitely shoot me a DM. I'm getting questions together now. Make sure you follow us on the Confidently Uncomfortable Instagram page. And yeah, I will see y'all in the next episode with our amazing doula. Thank you.